Your top story tonight, a fiery restitution hearing today for convicted killer Torre Jr., but it's not what happened inside the courtroom. It's the tirade that happened outside as Edison Piolo, the victim's brother, directed his anger at Torre, shouting from across the courthouse. Here's how it happened. It's the first time that Edison Piolo launched a tirade directed at Torre Jr.
You took my brother's life. You took my brother's life, Torre Jr.
But the grieving brother was only reacting to the possibility that Torre, the former police officer convicted of killing his brother, fellow police officer Sergeant Albert Piolo, could get away with not having to pay any restitution. A hearing today for Torre focused on that, where his defense attorney Jay Ariola disputed some of the claims filed by the Piolo family. These include $13,310 for funeral expenses and $5,650 for catering services for both the funeral and the first-year anniversary. Ariola argued that Piolo's wife, Mika, had already received $10,000 from the Criminal Injuries Compensation Fund.
We would dispute that she's entitled to a reimbursement as an out-of-pocket loss, at least for the anniversary. However, we leave for the court's discretion $1,650 for the initial funeral.
But beyond the tangible expenses, such as funeral and medical costs, is the issue of economic loss. What is the value of Bert Piolo's life? While no life can ever be quantified through money, at least for the income Bert Piolo could have earned, prosecutor Phil Tidinko was able to produce a number, a conservative one at that.
So if you factored that 10% and then his basic annual, if he had no overtime, no special assignments, would be $54,851.72.
Tidinko pointed out that this is an estimate of Bert Piolo's base pay and does not factor in the salary he was earning as executive security for the lieutenant governor, as well as his second and third incomes as business owner and a musician. Bert's youngest child was less than a year old at the time of his death.
So if we use that as sort of the outer parameters of the loss of economic support for the children, and then we would submit that the loss of economic support then would be $987,330.96. I don't think there's any question that the children are direct victims of the loss of their father.
Although Judge Michael Bordallo didn't make any decisions today on restitution, he alluded to the possibility that Guam's criminal code may not leave him much room to do so. He did, however, touch on the subject of civil damages.
It doesn't define loss, which is really what's at court has to define here. What is the sentence of loss means the value of property separated from the victim, and so there's two kind of terms that need to be defined there. One is victim and one is loss. And that's the limit of the court's definition or structure to determine what restitution is. And then, of course, we have to follow the guidance of 8052 in making a determination of what amounts, if any, can the defendant pay that are not unreasonable and don't pose an undue burden, as is the requirement of the code. But we have all the testimony from the trial. In this case, there were certainly many witnesses who testified. The defendant himself testified, and then at sentencing, the court heard and reviewed numerous reports on that, so the court has sufficient information that it can make that determination under 852. What it really has to struggle with and really has to come to a decision on is under 850, just what is allowed under restitution. Again, please make sure you advise Ms. Piolo and the family that that's the limit of the court's jurisdiction here, and it's not meant to, by anything it says, to say this is all you're entitled to as a matter of law. This is maybe all you're entitled to as a matter of law under the criminal code, and that's the limitation we have for us.
For the Piolo family, it's another major blow. They've been vocal about their sentiments on Torre's incarceration, or lack thereof, his conviction, and his sentencing. And now this, the possibility that he may not have to pay the victims at all. It appears, for Edison Piolo, it was all too much.
I lost my brother. That's what it is. Life is more valuable than money. You took my brother's life. You took my brother's life, Torre Jr. What's that? Life is more valuable for that.
Judge Bordelio took the matter under advisement.